Do you have a chewing puppy or maybe even a chewing adult dog on your hands? If so, you're going to want to stay tuned for today's behavior chat. Thanks for joining me again today. I'm Tanya Wilhelm, and today we're going to talk about dogs and puppies who like to chew things besides their toys. As I've suggested in previous videos, we want to make sure that we're meeting our dog's daily needs, both physical and mental. I have a list of the top 7 things that I think you should be doing with your dog on a daily basis. I'll put the link below. Make sure that you give that a quick watch to make sure that you're following my top 7. But even when you're doing everything right, dogs still like to chew. And puppies, while their teeth are still growing and developing, the first 2 years, your puppy may have lost his puppy teeth. And you may even see his adult canines popping through. But it actually takes about 2 years for those teeth to actually fully develop and fully mature. Puppies and adolescent dogs tend to really put an emphasis on getting their mouth around things. Even an adult dog still likes to chew. It's in their nature. So it's a very normal dog behavior. And I'm not suggesting you try to have your dog not chew. What I'm going to suggest is try to help your dog choose the right things to chew on. So your first line of defense is really good management. And I do have a video on that as well, so I'll pop that below it too. And good management means eyes on your puppy at all times, or your puppy is confined in an area that is chew-proof and safe. Typically, this will be a crate or an X-pen. If you have a chewing puppy or an adult dog, we want to make sure that we're both physically and mentally exercising them. If you can help your dog get his pent-up energy out in an appropriate way, like play and exercise, they're going to have less desire and need to chew on inappropriate things. So we need to make sure that we have plenty of appropriate things for your dog and puppy to chew on. And variety is the spice of life for a reason. So make sure that you're mixing it up with new toys, new chews, rotating those, different textures, different scents, so that it's not the same old boring thing over and over, because they're going to get bored, just like we do. Make sure your dog has easy access to those toys and chews. If you have a large house and you guys spend a lot of time in different locations, make sure that he has a toy box in each of those main locations. You can't expect a 6-month-old puppy to leave one spot, go down the hall, go into another room, and go to his toy box. You want your puppy to be able to turn his head and go, oh, there's my toy, I'm going to grab that. And when they're really young, like when Dexter was a puppy, they were everywhere. During the day when he was out and we were hanging out and bopping around, his toys and chews were there, so that when he was running around, he's like, oh, and he wants to put that mouth on something, boom, there's a toy there. As they get better and they have a little more self-control, then that toy box can be maybe in the corner of the room. Don't expect your puppy and dog to just go to those toys all on his own. Interact with them. Play with him and his toys and his chews. Get him excited about that. As part of my list of meeting your dog's daily needs, one of them is play and interaction. So this is a great time to throw that chew across the room, do a little fetch with it, entice him to want to chew on it, praise him when he does, and make a big deal out of it. One of the big things that I think gets missed is rewarding our dogs for good behavior. So many times when a puppy's chewing on the right thing and being good, owners are like, oh, I don't want to interrupt him, he's being so good. But instead, go ahead and tell him, say, wow, you're being such a smart boy, that was such a good choice. Even if your puppy jumps up away from his chew toy and bops up back to you and says hello, go ahead and give him a nice pet and then reintroduce him to that chew toy. But teaching them what we want and rewarding what we want is how we get more of what you want. If your dog does happen to chew on something that's inappropriate, of course we're eyes on, so you're able to redirect right away. So if he starts to chew on the blanket right by his bed, just go ahead and say, oh, come over here. Redirect him to the toy that you want him to chew on and say, that's a good boy, good job. And keep him focused on that.
Good. Dexter.
Don't make a big deal out of it. Don't yell at him or reprimand him or scare him. Just calmly refocus him on the right thing. Remember, you're going to keep eyes on all the time, or he's going to be confined to a chew-proof area. So that means you're not going to find things that are chewed on. If you're finding things that are chewed on, your management's not there. You're missing something. So we need to go back to that management. If you're at home and you're distracted, you can still use his puppy crate. You can also use a leash where you attach him to you. When Dexter was a puppy, there was many a times that I would catch his leash and step on it, especially if I was on the telephone. But before that, I actually was proactive and said, I'm going to be on the telephone, so let me go ahead and get one of his chews and get him all excited about it and all engaged with it so that he starts chewing. Then I'll make my telephone call. He's still attached to his leash and I'm stepping on it, but I'm more likely to have him be good while I'm on the telephone. In some of your training sessions, you can also work with Leave It on some of the items that might be kind of enticing to him, like the remote control or that blanket or your child's slippers. I'll put a link below to my Leave It video, so go ahead and check that out. When you're practicing your Leave It, just make sure that you're using the exciting objects when you're practicing. Finally, we want to remember to be patient. Our dogs and our puppies have a lot of learning to do. We can't expect them to learn everything and be perfect right out of the gate. As a matter of fact, we can't expect them to be perfect at all, just like we're not perfect. But if you're instilling my top 7 things to do with your dog every day, and you're practicing good management skills and following these steps, you'll get there. So hopefully you found some of these suggestions helpful. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. So don't forget to subscribe to my channel. You can hit the bell icon and you'll be notified every time I upload a new video. And if you want to dive deeper into your dog's behavior, training, and care, you can check out my private Patreon page, the link's below. And until next time, remember to pause and enjoy life, and I'll see you in the next video. If your puppy or adult dog tends to chew when you're not home, and you think maybe he's got separation anxiety, that's the behavior you're going to want to address. It's not a chewing issue, it's a being alone issue. If that is the case, you can check out my book, Please Stay, Help for a Dog with Separation Anxiety. It's a step-by-step guide to help you help your dog through his separation anxiety. I always recommend, if your dog has severe anxiety or reactivity, to seek one-on-one help from a professional. They're going to be able to help pinpoint all the little nuances to help you and your dog be successful. And it may not be separation anxiety either. It may actually be noise phobia or thunder phobia, and your dog gets anxious when those things happen. One way that might help you figure that out is if the chewing is random. If sometimes he chews, sometimes he doesn't, and everything else is the same. Of course, we have technology, so now we have all the great smartphones and video apps, so go ahead and utilize those as well to see what's going on when you're gone.
Let me tell you a story about the baddest dog that ever was. Sneaking food from the fridge, tearing up the garbage. He's a goofy old Dexter the dog. He's a bad Dexter the dog, the baddest pup that there ever was.